Good morning, televiewers of my Media Prime Television. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation once again. It's our favorite bilingual program, The Brief, which is always dedicated to the review of striking headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the killing of 5 CDC workers over there in Tiku, in Fako division of the southwest region of Cameroon by suspected Ambazonian fighters. Many newspapers are describing the sad incident as unacceptable and unspeakable. Get full details as we will be back after the headlines in the French language newspaper. We shall also talk about the birthday of President Paul Biya. President Paul Biya clocks 90 years today. He was born on the 13th of February 1933, as the newspapers are telling us. And we shall talk about the special number 13. 13 is a special number that has to do with grace and a lot of opportunity. We shall talk about that in this edition of the set of the program that the Horizon newspaper is focusing on. We are talking about the birthday of President Paul Biya, reasons why President Paul Biya has that grace to live up to 90 years, as per what the Horizon newspaper is telling us this morning. Gwladys Bomotonguina is here. Let's have the headlines in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha. Bonjour à vous et merci d'être fidèle à Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur ma Media Prime Télévision. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est la première édition de la semaine et nous débutons avec Mutation Quotidien. Mutation Quotidien, ce matin, nous plonge dans le cœur de Tico pour nous parler du quintet de la mort. C'est le grand titre ce matin de Mutation Quotidien. 5 employés de la CDC tués par des hommes armés. Ils auraient donc boudé le mot d'ordre de Villemot. Les détails sont en page 5 de Mutation Quotidien ce matin. En page 10, le journal nous parle du message du chef de l'État, son Excellence Paul Biya. Message d'un père de 90 ans, l'intitulé, l'intégralité, c'est dans cette édition de Mutation Quotidien à sa page 10. En page 11, le journal nous parle de Jean-Emmanuel Mpandi qui parle de Zogo comme de Lumumba. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons ce matin avec l'info à chaud. L'info à chaud ce matin parle en grand titre du CED au Cameroun. Cette semaine au CED, haute amplitude d'embouteillage annoncée. C'est le grand titre ce matin de l'info à chaud. Des médias et ONG occidentaux croient donc savoir que l'affaire de l'assassinat du présentateur de l'émission Embouteillage sur la radio Amplitude FM, Martinez Zogo, connaîtra sa vitesse de croisière au cours de cette nouvelle semaine. Du 13 au 17 février 2023, d'autres interpellations spectaculaires annoncées. Les détails sont donc en page 12 de l'info à chaud ce matin. En page 11, le journal nous parle d'un accident de la circulation. Le journal nous révèle qu'un élève de la retraite, du collège de la retraite, tue donc 2 personnes dans cet accident de la circulation. En page 2 jusqu'à 5, le journal nous parle du message du chef de l'État, son Excellence Paul Biya, à la jeunesse camerounaise, conseil l'auto, emploi qui conseille donc l'auto, emploi à la jeunesse camerounaise. Dans le même journal, à sa page 10, le journal nous parle de la lutte contre la fraude à la Kamwat Douala. Un branchement frauduleux datant de 20 ans a été démantelé dans cette partie du Cameroun. Toujours dans le même journal, en page 6, le journal nous parle du capitaine de vaisseau à Tonfak Ngomo, DIFCOM Mindef. C'est le titre ce matin paru par l'info à chaud. Armée et jeunesse, un couple irréductible. C'est l'information que nous présente ce matin l'info à chaud et les détails sont donc effectivement en page 6 de cette édition. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons avec le journal Le Jour. Le journal Le Jour qui nous amène directement à Limbé pour nous parler de 5 employés de la CDC qui ont été tués dans cette partie du pays. Les détails sont en page 5 du journal Le Jour ce matin. Page 3, le journal nous amène au Social Democratic Front, le SDF. Nouvelle assignation pour Frundi. C'est l'information que nous présente ce matin le journal Le Jour. La plainte des descendants de Bouddha a été radiée de fou, autant pour moi, pour réapparaître à Yaoundé. C'est l'information que nous présente ce matin le journal Le Jour en ce qui concerne les conflits dans le SDF au Cameroun. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons ce matin avec Émergence quotidien, nous clôturons avec Émergence quotidien qui nous parle lui en grand titre de santé pour nous parler de la fièvre hémorragique qui fait donc trembler le Cameroun en ce moment. Les détails sont en page 3 d'Émergence quotidien. Ce matin, page 2, le journal nous parle du discours du chef de l'État, son Excellence Paul Biya. Le journal déclare ce matin qu'il s'agissait d'un discours pour ne rien dire. Nous restons toujours dans le même journal à sa page 11. Le journal nous parle de football. Le UMS de Loum lance donc des flèches contre la FECAFOOT. En page 4, le journal nous parle de l'auto-emploi, la problématique des diplômés chômeurs desséqués. En page 2, toujours d'émergence quotidien, le journal nous parle malheureusement des décédés de la CDC, des employés de la CDC qui ont été tués récemment par des hommes armés non identifiés. Mesdames, Messieurs, voilà pour vos titres ce matin. En langue française, place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise. Et c'est avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys, Bomotonguina. Thank you to televiewers on my media prime for staying tuned. Let's kickstart this morning with the English Daily, the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is focusing on the killing of 5 CDC workers in the southwest region of Cameroon by Ambazonia fighters. This morning, the paper describes the said killing as unacceptable and despicable. Digging further, a band of suspected Amba fighters, February 10, 2023, attacked and killed 5 workers of the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, in Tiko, Fako division of the southwest region. The Amba fighters injured several others workers in the process, leaving the population in shock. Full details on page 3 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. We leave the Guardian Post. We are with the Post newspaper. The Post is focusing on the head of state's address to the youths on the 11th of February 2023. Biya prescribes self-employment to youths. And on the eve of the celebration of the 57th edition of the Youth Day on February 11, President Paul Biya, in his address to the youths, prescribed self-employment as panacea to Cameroon's relatively high youth unemployment rate. He reassured the youths of the determination and that of the government to provide solutions to problems plaguing them. During his traditional February 10 message to Cameroon youths, President Paul Biya said that conscious efforts are being made to curb the rate of joblessness amongst youths in Cameroon. We stay with the Post newspaper to talk about unidentified gunmen that have killed 5 workers of the Cameroon Development Corporation and also injured 44, according to the paper. The efforts of the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, to regenerate its banana farms took a painful hit on Friday, February 10, 2023, when unknown gunmen attacked the corporation's transportation van and killed 5 of its workers and left several others injured. There was an atmosphere of pain and sorrow in Tiko late afternoon on February 10, that was Friday, February 10, when the CDC truck that was transporting workers from the corporation's banana farms at Mafanja and Mundoni Fields was attacked by gunmen. The gunmen, who are reported to have hidden themselves in the surrounding bushes along the road leading from the banana farms, are said to have opened fire on the truck. The driver of the van and 4 others were wounded or were killed, and several others are said to have been wounded. About 30 of them were wounded on the spot, and they were transported to the hospital for medical attention. And danger of socio-economic situation of Cameroon, or degrading socio-economic situation of Cameroon. Trade unions issue ultimatum to the government of the Republic of Cameroon about workers on imminent strike action. And workers from the public and private sectors have been called upon by those trade unions to be ready not to work every Monday if government fails to arrest the current prevailing economic, social and security situations in the country. The call was made in a press release signed in Yaoundé on February 3, 2023 by a conglomerate of trade unions and civil society organizations made up of some 27 members. According to the social movement, the failure of government to arrest the situation by not fulfilling the conditions set will push workers to observe work stoppage every every Monday beginning from February 15 to March 15, 2023. We leave the Post newspaper. We are ending this morning with the Horizon newspaper. The Horizon newspaper this morning is also talking about the killing of 5 CDC workers in the southwest region of Cameroon. Dark weekend in Tiko. 5 CDC workers are killed. Get full details in this edition of the Horizon newspaper. And the Horizon is also interested in what I told you in my introduction, Paul Biya at 90, divine blend of grace and wisdom. The paper is telling us that Paul Biya, President and Head of State of Cameroon, clocks 90 years of age today, February 13, 2023. What grace and gift of life. But wait a moment, Paul Biya came to this world on the 13th of February 1933. Little wonder for the grace upon his life. In neurology, the sacred number 13 is considered to be very karmic. It is also associated with the divine and is said to bring good luck and prosperity to those who embrace it. Contrary to other beliefs, many people believe strongly that the number 13 brings about change, which can often lead to a positive outlook. Paul Biya's leadership is a pure reflection and a revelation of the positivity of the number 13. You can read more in this edition of the Horizon newspaper talking about the positivity of the magic number 13 that has to do with the birthday of the number one statesman, President Paul Biya. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime. This is all we gather for you this morning on the program, and we shall begin digging several layers beneath the major headlines. You can equally call us on the numbers that you see on the screen to talk about those major headlines that the newspapers are talking about this morning, especially the killing of 5 workers of Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, for what the killers term violation of imposed lockdown on the local population over there in the southwest region of Cameroon. We are equally joined by Ndabi. Julien Ndabi is a journalist with My Media Prime Television. Good morning and thank you for joining.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha Kingsley. Thanks for having me. Good morning, televiewers of My Media Prime Television, and of course our fervent viewers of the program, The Brief, where we get to analyze striking headlines, making news in the newspaper that we have in Cameroon, the various newspapers, both in the French and English categories.
Then we are right.
Yes, it's Valentine's Day, it's Valentine's Day week. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So, of course, at My Media Prime Television, we're equally looking forward to celebrating that day with the televiewers. Of course, wearing the most prominent color for Valentine's Day, which is red.
Okay, let's begin in the southwest region of Cameroon to talk about workers of the second employer after the government. We are talking about the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, whose workers were shot at close range on the 10th of February.
Yes,
5 died on
Lasha
spot.
Kingsley, like the Guardian Post wrote it, unacceptable and despicable that what has happened there in Tiko in the southwest region. And let's not forget that this is not the first time that CDC workers, Cameroon's agricultural corporation, have been attacked there in Tiko. Remember that in November of 2018, about 8 workers were attacked and their fingers chopped off while they were at work.
But the funniest thing is that the person that ordered at that time the chopping off of those fingers came out again to tell us that he is sorry, he has now repented and everything. So these very people have killed. They will still come back again and say the same thing.
And Mr. Lasha, again, 2 months after that, in 2019, January, at least half a dozen of these same CDC workers were equally attacked. They were brought out of their homes, as reports said, and their fingers again chopped off. So the attack on CDC workers
Why the continuous attack on CDC
Remember that
workers?
in the northwest and southwest region, state corporations are being attacked. We have the brasseries that they don't want to see in the northwest and in the southwest region. We have so many corporations that are owned by the state, and of course the struggle for cessation makes this really difficult for the workers. So it's been a very difficult moment for CDC workers, and of course these people rely on working to make ends meet. So they are in a dilemma. They don't know what to do, because if they abandon their jobs, what would they do to make money? What would they do to make money? That is their livelihood.
We had some of those workers who came out, they were crying that they've not been able to send their children to school. So many of them have not received salaries, 23, 22 months of unpaid salaries. They were crying that they needed money. The corporation was barely struggling. Now that the corporation is coming back in full force, why still target this corporation
Mr.
and
Lasha,
the local population continue to suffer?
I'm not sure we have answers to those questions, because we really don't know what's happening. As the years go by, the crisis moves to another stage. As the years go by, it moves to another stage that is even more disheartening to see, to watch. That people are being killed just because they want to look for a means to put food on their family table, to send their children to school.
11th February got to do with workers going to the farm? When you talk about ghost towns or lockdown, what has that got to do with the workers of a corporation going to work?
I really don't know what to say, because it is really, really despicable. These are actions by separatist fighters that needs to really, really be questioned, needs to be really, really be terminated, because it is unfair to kill people because they're going to work. And the Ghost Town Day was for Friday and Saturday. That's the 10th of February and the 11th of February. That's 11th February, and they did not want any march past or any 11th February celebrations to happen. But then you would have spared these people who were just going to the farm. They were not going to the grandstand to march. They were not going to march. They were going to the farm to work. I don't think that it was a disrespect really to the rules that were set for this lockdown, because if they were going to the grandstand to march, that would be different. But they were going to the farm. So I don't see how that was a problem. But then, like I said, you and I don't have answers to why they really did this, as like they said, disrespect to their orders of lockdown. But, well,
parlons donc effectivement de cette histoire de ville morte, non-respect de ville morte, respect de ville morte. Au jour d'aujourd'hui, nous sommes à plus de 6 ans que cela perdure et rien n'est toujours fait jusqu'à ce niveau. Au contraire, nous ne faisons que compter des morts, des morts et des morts. À ce niveau-ci, est-ce que les employés de CDC qui ont perdu leur vie sont allés parce que les autorités, bref, leurs chefs supérieurs administratifs leur ont imposé d'aller au champ ce jour-là, ou c'est parce qu'ils voulaient simplement y aller?
Well, Gwladys, like I said, I really don't know how to explain what has happened, because I feel hurt. I feel for the families that have lost loved ones in this very, very despicable manner. But then I just hope that the government can do more to protect CDC workers.
Yes. Good morning, sir. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, my name is Fombe Emmanuel. Call for Metal Padangumba.
Yes.
Yeah, morning.
Good morning. Your points, please.
Go
ahead and make your point.
So my suggestion for the lockdown, we have to show where people die. I guess I say be good for any man for respect. Because you know, fight for people the two sides. Avoid all the two sides, not any politics. When you want to say go this side, avoid them. For say tomorrow may not be the victim.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You're calling people to avoid trouble. Thank you. That's your point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Parce qu'effectivement, nous sommes en face d'un dilemme. Peut-être ces employés de la CDC ont reçu instruction peut-être de leurs supérieurs d'aller travailler au regard même malheureusement du couvre-feu ou bien de la ville morte ordonnée par les séparatistes. À ce niveau-ci, qu'est-ce que ces personnes-là doivent faire? Parce qu'elles sont entre les ordres peut-être de leur autorité administrative qu'elles doivent respecter pour maintenir leur travail, gagner leur pain quotidien, et les séparatistes qui ne leur laissent pas le choix.
I think that as well, like the caller has mentioned, just to stay on the safe side, when they put these lockdowns, maybe you can just stay home. We know it's difficult.
Even when these people stay home, they come after them. You just
like
mentioned in one of your statistics
that 2019,
yes, they came to
their house and put them out and chopped off
Is
their
a problem
fingers.
really with the workers of CDC, or these people are targeting workers or CDC workers?
Mr. Lasha, I don't know what to say, but then I feel like the state, the authorities there in Tico should do more to protect these workers because they are the target. These people are not going to the offices to attack the officials, the authorities there. They are attacking the normal man who goes to the farm to toil, to under the sun, to work for them and make money. So I think that there has to be some sort of security.
Is it not going to be, it is an armed conflict? Why target civilians? There are rules for war. Why not go after the military? Why not fight? It's supposed to be a fight between the military and the non-state armed group, to the best of my knowledge. Why target civilians?
But like you know, in a war, civilians are unfortunately the casualties of it, whether they know of it or they don't know. Remember, children have been the casualties as well of war that they do not understand or did not start. But then I'll hit the nail on the hammer that the authorities should protect CDC workers, or else they should not go to work because it's very difficult for them. They need to make money to put.
Good morning, sir. Your name? Where you are calling us from?
Yeah, this is Richard from Bamenda.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Yeah, I've been following up your discussion this morning.
Yes.
Regarding the killing of 5 CDC workers. It's quite an unfortunate incident, and excuse me, I don't think any Cameroonian is happy when a Cameroonian is killed. There's no life that is worth being lost for the sake of, the crisis. Excuse me. To me, this crisis, the killings are senseless, and we condemn it in very strong terms because every life matters. The problem we have in this country is not with the workers of CDC. It's with the government and the or let me just put it this way, the warring parties.
Yes.
The workers are just they are just victims of circumstances.
Exactly.
But for me, where the problem is in this country is we are trying to solve a problem without going into the root cause of the problem. It's like you're trying to kill a tree by cutting it from up, not going to the root. The government, the solution to the problem of this crisis lies in the hands of the government. There's no argument about that. The government must find a way to resolve this problem and appease those who have carried guns.
Sir, when you say the government, and these people who carry the guns, they say they have carried the guns for the interest of the very people that they are killing. Is there not something that is missing somewhere? A missing link between what they are advocating for and the reality on the ground now?
Well, I think you're right. They are carrying the guns for the sake of the people. But at the same time, you need to also understand that I think that they feel the sense of frustration among those people who are carrying the guns. The sense of frustration. And they feel that their problem, the reason why they carry the gun, have not been addressed. And they also feel that, some people whom they, purportedly are protecting, don't seem to collaborate with them or don't seem to follow the cause for which they carry the guns. They expect that the people should see things the way they see them. But I understand, it's unfortunate because people cannot, given the circumstances we find ourselves in Cameroon, people have to eat, people have to work, and all that. I think their frustration is government has not addressed the reasons why they carried guns. Now, that's not to say that the killing is right. But again, my dear brother, this problem cannot be solved if government does not address the root cause of this issue.
And now apparently all hopes
solutions to it.
Apparently all hopes are lost with the rejection of the Canadian peace talks.
Yes, we have the Canadian peace talks that started, and government engaged in that Canadian peace talk.
No, but government says she has never been part of the talk.
They don't know what those Canadian peace talks are about.
What you are saying?
That's not true. That's not true. We have reports. Before now. Government has been part of the process. Government sent delegation to Canada.
Which government? Because apparently it's as if a different government was designated.
The struggle in the diaspora. And then all of a sudden, the Canadian government will not come out and make a statement. The Canadian government will not come out and make a statement to say that they are engaged in a peace talk with the Cameroon government if nothing had taken place. So, my dear brother.
So what is the way forward? We are only waiting on God now.
The way forward is government should go into the root cause of this problem and provide a lasting solution. That is at the end of the day, that is the truth.
But government
ends up on the table.
Yes, it's
reading conflict ends up on the table.
Yeah, reading from what Emmanuel Sadi said.
Government should convene the parties to the table and have a talk with them.
Government is bent on implementing the recommendations of the major national dialogue, as per what Emmanuel Sadi just said, that everything is returning to normalcy. The recommendations are being systematically implemented. Which other way do you want government to go about the conflict?
Well, my dear brother, you would agree with me that the dialogue took place more than how many years ago?
4 years.
And people are not feeling the effect. Whatever government is doing, as long as the common man is not feeling the effects of whatever decision was taken at the national dialogue, whatever, we will continue to find this kind of situations. Now, the dialogue or the conference that took place in Yaoundé, we have to ask ourselves, has that conference put an end to the conflict? Number two, did that conference appease those who carried guns? Number three, what is government doing concretely to make sure that the decisions or the resolutions of that conference is felt by the common man? Because honestly, people don't feel the effects. Yeah. You don't say there's a regional council. You don't say there is a national independent conciliator. Don't let me see what they are doing. And all of this has not solved the problem. By the way, who is giving the Northwest and the Southwest? Who is giving us
special status? Special status.
Special status. Who is giving good special status? All of that has not solved this problem. And that's why I said from the beginning that we're trying to solve a problem without getting to the root cause of the problem.
But you will agree with me that the very, I don't know, urgent solution or what we need now is for the guns to stop smoking. What should we do for the guns to stop smoking, whether be it on the side of government or the non-state armed groups?
The first thing government should do, brother, if they want to end this crisis, number one, the government should declare, if you make me the president of this country today, I will solve this problem in 1 week.
And who are you?
So they make him the president. Go ahead.
Amnesty to everybody. Amnesty.
Will amnesty stop the guns from smoking?
Those in Cameroon. Number two, release all those who have been incarcerated as a result of this crisis. And then number three, call for a national reconciliation. National reconciliation. Because people are feeling pains. Those who have lost loved ones in this conflict, lost properties, people are in pain. Those people have to be, the government has to find a way to reach out to those people, you know, and comfort them. And then create a national reconciliation committee. that will bring everybody on board. And everything must be discussed. There should not be preclusion or exclusion. No. Everything should be on the table. Government should listen to those who are fighting. They are our brothers. They are Cameroonians. They should not be called terrorists and all of that, give them names and all that. No, that is not solving the problem. Government should put everybody on the table. All options should be on the table. And everything should be discussed.
Where?
This problem will be solved.
Discussed where? In Cameroon or out of Cameroon, in the presence of somebody or not?
Well, if the government is genuine, if this government is genuine, we wouldn't even need people from outside. Cameroonians were capable of solving our problems. Remember before they let Archbishop died,
Cardinal
Tumi.
Yes.
Remember he tried to come up with a conference. But who stood against the conference? Was it not the government? So how does the government want to solve a problem when it's not encouraging even its people, initiatives back home? How does the government want to solve the problem? We cannot solve this problem through the barrel of the gun. Each time you listen to the head of state talk about the conflict, all he talks about is we are going to go to them with a gun. We are going to. No, we cannot. A government cannot fight against its own people. That's what the government is doing. You're fighting against your own people. So we cannot solve this problem this way.
Okay.
And I don't know how many lives are going to be lost before this problem is solved.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The caller from Bamenda is very, very,
Mr. Lasha, 6 years down the line, the crisis, like I said, keeps moving.
He's talking
to
about genuine dialogue. Amnesty should be granted.
And Lasha, I just want to make this statement. Remember that when the Canadian peace talks was mentioned, we learned that the Ambazonia Governing Council and other fractions of the crisis had accepted into this talk. So who is then giving the orders for these ghost towns? Is it some sort of a retaliation for Cameroon government saying that they were not part of any negotiations for a peace talk with Canada?
They agree, and we even heard
so how come
the so-called
we thought that they were equally part of
defense secretary
for solutions to the crisis.
Ayabacho or whatever, asking those that have the guns to stop.
So have this to stop. So who then is continues to give these orders for attacks on the civilians? Like you said, they say they are looking for independence or whatever for their sake. I remember that the CDC has been operating since 1947. Even these fighters, their parents probably have worked for CDC.
Yes, of course.
And
good morning, sir.
Okay,
welcome.
let's listen to the caller.
Good morning. Your name? Where you're calling us from?
I call from Bermuda.
Yes, move on. We are going to accept any language today on the program. Sorry?
I will talk about the 5 people that kidnapped.
Yes.
Yes. Would they admit to them will not be happy when they kill people out of the because mutual don't work. So would they think that when they give things like those down, make the tribe of them and the
Oh, sorry, we cannot keep you. The caller is gone. Rather, he's gone.
Yes,
like
we're
trying to say that some of those fighters, their parents have worked for the CDC.
They were groomed from probably the small stipends or compensations that their parents got from working for CDC. CDC has been operating since 1947. That's a long time ago.
Most of them who are in America today, they benefited from
there.
And they are most of them are the ones
the corporations should stop existing in the Southwest region, because at the same time we need to know why they are taxed. I think we need to look for the root cause of why they are taxed. Should the corporation stop operating?
Are you saying there's some sort of sabotage on CDC? Is that what they are saying?
I think so. I think
quel est le degré de développement que la CDC a apporté dans cette partie du pays? En termes d'évaluation. quel est le degré de développement que la CDC a apporté dans cette partie.
Of course, it is very, very valuable to the country. It's very, very valuable. It is one of Cameroon's biggest exports as well out of the country. The banana from CDC is one of Cameroon's biggest
Mais est-ce
exports.
que la population elle-même a bénéficié au maximum de la CDC ou est-ce que ce sont plutôt les étrangers qui bénéficient de la CDC et eux ils travaillent juste comme des esclaves?
It's very beneficial.
Okay.
Very, very beneficial. But then the question is, why do they want the CDC to die? That is the question. I'm heavy on that question.
Hello,
Why do they want the CDC to
Mr.
die?
Lasha, and good morning to the panelists.
Good morning, sir. Your name? Where are you calling us from?
Yes, this is Elvis from Boyo.
Yes, right on.
Yes, it's really a pity. We are really sorry about those people that lose their life for this attack that they have. We are very sorry about that. So what do we have to talk here is that the government have to, like as other first scholars said, they need to go to the root cause of this problem. They need to actually return to 1961, address the root cause of this problem so that they should see how they solve the problem. The Canadian talk that they negotiated, I don't know why the government have to stop. Because, you know, it's because most of the government and the other two parties, they are benefiting from this crisis. They don't want that the crisis should stop. So we are just pleading that the government should go ahead to see how they bring a long-lasting peace to this war, because people are suffering. And talking of this ghost town issue, if they say ghost town, I'm taking my brother in Northwest and the South River. When they say ghost town, people should really respect it because it's good to preserve their life. Life is very, very precious. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you,
Have
sir.
a blessed day.
A blessed day to you too. Thank you. Yes, everybody's saying life is so precious.
Life is
when these
precious.
people declare whatever thing they declare, people should respect.
Exactly,
People should not
Mr.
risk
Lasha.
their lives.
I think that's very true. The best thing is just
So
to
the
avoid.
pressure coming from your boss now, and which one do you give into? Pressure from the separatists or pressure coming
From the
from your
boss.
job site?
I think that life is very important. So if you value life, you would know which side to pick, definitely.
Mais est-ce qu'on peut penser que ces administrateurs qui imposent à ces employés-là de travailler pendant ces villes mortes elles-mêmes sont aussi à plaindre dans cette histoire?
Gwladys, I really don't know what to say about that. But like I said, life is very important. So the workers themselves need to start thinking of something else to do. If their life is being put at risk at every given point of time, each time they leave their house, they are going to the farm, probably it's ghost town period or not, I think that they are still at risk, and so they should think twice about what to do. Maybe start looking for a new job, or I don't know. But then, like the caller said, life is very important. We don't know where. We are simply analyzing because I cannot give answers.
Parce que à ce niveau-ci,
we're simply analyzing what the newspapers have said. So I really cannot give answers to where they should go and work. But I'm simply saying that, like the callers have said, life
supposed to
is
be
important.
Government or us hammering on the fact that government should probably endorse the Canadian peace talks? Because it was already, we learned that for the past 4 months before the Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister came to the public eye. The UN had been at the center of negotiation between the warring factions, and at the end of the day, Canada was mandated to do that. But the question now, like many people are asking, that sometimes maybe there are two governments in Cameroon. We don't know the government that went to represent Cameroon. At the end of the day, some other person is saying that they are not mandated Canada to mediate in the ongoing conflict. Where do we move from this?
I would say that
here?
first,
Where do we move
there
from
needs to
here?
be more protection of CDC workers. Secondly, if there isn't protection...
You're only talking about CDC workers. If I take you to the Northwest region, the route Kumbu, Bamenda has been blocked for close to 3 months now.
Yes, Mr. Lasha.
Not that somebody has put anything there. It's open, but they have said nothing moves.
And people are
along
respecting
that,
right?
along that stretch of
But
road.
then I am
Some 3
focusing
vehicles
more.
tried sometimes back, a few days ago, and all those vehicles were burnt to ashes.
Well, the Canadian peace talks, I'm sure, is still open. Canada is still very open to probably, do the moderation for government and the non-state armed groups. So it is left on Cameroon to, join in this peace talk. So the government should, even if they were not part of these negotiations, like the weeks leading to their announcement, they should reconsider, because I'm sure Canada is still open, or they should mandate another country that can be the moderator of
Is it not bad faith? I mean, on the side of, let's put it that way, government or those probably who are within the government circle, that they don't want to see, probably they don't want to see an end to this conflict. We cannot just say the entire government is bad, but there are some certain individuals probably who are very influential that they don't want to see this conflict. And wherever there's a decision that is taken for the common good of Cameroonians, those few people who have passed, they go against the decision. Is it what is happening?
I really don't know, Mr. Lasha. I don't know these officials that don't want to see the crisis end. But then, if the government is there for the people, Cameroon is a democratic state. For you, for the people, government for the people, by the people, with the people. So, of course, the government should be thinking to make this crisis end. They should be thinking this. The Northwest and Southwest region people have suffered a lot. Remember on 11 February Day, while watching these young boys and girls march past at the stadium at Carrefour des Immeubles here in Douala, I was just thinking that, oh my God, look at the children in the Northwest and Southwest regions. They will not be experiencing this amazing time of 11 February because of the current situation they find themselves in. So I think that if Cameroon is really a democratic state, then the government should know that 6 years has been too long for the crisis. And so they should be looking for a solution to it.
Good morning, sir. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, I'm Nelson Patenweba. I'm calling from Tico.
Yes. Tell us the situation. You are in Tico. What actually happened?
I just want to say, to contribute a little on this issue that happened on Friday.
Yes.
Okay. When we look at during the colonial days, when we were fighting against we were fighting for our independence, our forefathers, right? They were struggling to fight against European imperialism. So as a result of that, they were targeting all the government properties. Okay, in this juncture, those who are protecting government properties are the military. So they were supposed to vote for the military, not for the civilian. If you have decided to pick up arms against the government, go to know the target. The CDC workers should not be a victim of this crisis because we are in pain. This is 28 months we have not received salary. Then beside that, they are putting more pressures on us and even eliminating souls, workers who have gone to farm to look for their daily bread. Put yourself in my seat. You leave your house to work. You give farewell to your family. That you are going to work and you are coming back. Then you go to work and you do not come back. It's painful. It's very, very painful. So what my stake here is that you should know your target. Those who you want to fight against, not the civilians that you claim to be protective to them. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much, sir. Know your target. That's what the caller from Tiku says. He's a CDC worker and that is calling us from Tiku. He said during the colonial days when they were fighting against independence or European imperialism, they were targeting the Europeans and the military, not the civilians. That's what the caller said, that the people who are fighting should know their target. They should go and target the military protecting government properties and not the common workers. He even said some of them have gone for 28 months without salaries and they have to go to the farm to survive. They actually have to survive.
And most of them will even pick some of this banana and take back home. I'm
see.
sure that's equally one of the reasons why they keep going to the farms, because they can benefit from the banana and take some home for their family to cook and eat, you know. And I think that his point is very valid, is very true. But I doubt if there's even some sort of stiff security
Good
there
morning.
in Tiko at the CDC plantation.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name? Where you are calling us from?
Mr. Prizo from Ekok.
Yes.
I'm very happy to be part of this program this morning. There is a problem that we don't know. They say the root cause. In all the test stations, I say the root cause, the root cause, the root cause. Why can people not come out and start telling people that this is the root cause? Every day they talk about the root cause, the root cause.
Who are the
individuals know the root cause? And we should tell the government that this is the root cause. And if you don't solve this root cause, that is where the problem will continue. Not that we will come on here and be talking everything. The root cause, the government knows the root cause, the population knows the root cause. Then you come out, not telling the people that this is the root cause. The government know that this is the root cause. All of us know the root cause.
Are you saying that government has never been told the root cause?
Have been talking all the conferences, the national dialogue. If you go back to the root cause.
Okay, thank you. The people should come out and say the root cause.
C'est une question qui va toujours taroter l'esprit.
So what is
quoi
the
le
root
fond
cause?
du problème en fait?
We are almost out of time, Julian. We cannot go without talking about the birthday of President Paul Biya.
Yes.
The number one statesman clocks 90 today, the 13th day of February 2023, was born. On the 13th day of February 1933, President Paul Biya is 90 years old today. Happy birthday to you, Mr. President, and many more years.
40 years of his life as statesman, as president
of the Republic
of Cameroon. And of course, the CPDM would still say that they want him as their party chairman to represent them in the forthcoming elections.
What do you think about
I think that it's time for him to rest and another young Cameroonian take on the position as head of state. So, but then 2025,
but it's a special man. Everything about him is special. People are born on the 13th day of February. No, not this particular
we have
magic,
young stars
13
that
magic.
Can lead Cameroon just like he did, or better than he has done.
Okay.
So I think that it's time for the head of state to rest. He well-deserved rest because he's done a lot. Despite the issues we have in Cameroon, I think that there's some sort of level of development that Cameroon has experienced.
I'm not sure they divide his age by 3 up to your own. I don't think so.
It would not.
Anyway, it's a grace. It's a grace from God, a divine blessing, because it's not easy for you to live up to 90 years. 90 years, not just living as an individual. 90 years carrying the troubles of a country, Cameroon. You know, it's not easy. He really has the grace, as per what newspapers are saying. Thank you, Gwladys. Thank you, Julian Dambi, for coming. Thank you to televiewers on my Media Prime for watching the very first edition of the program for the week, produced for us by Christain Tebong, hoping that we will be yours tomorrow for another edition of the program. And of course, we were Gwladys Bomotonguina and myself, Lasha Kingsley, for presentation. Saying bye-bye from this end.